People really like our music.
And when we have guests on here, they always start dancing to it without us prompting them. World travelers, digital nomads, whatever we're going to call you, we don't know yet. We are back with another exciting episode, a new one, a fresh one, and don't get used to that because next week's probably going to be a bank episode because I'm on a cruise. I am Judge Mentalist coming at you with tons of updates of what's happened since the last time we've shared our ear space, and I'm here with my pal, Big Sexy.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, thank y'all so much.
It's right now. It's hitting their ear holes right now.
We appreciate y'all listening in. Glad you're here with us to talk travel and to discuss nomading and digitaling and what's happening in our lives and the shenanigans that is us. It's been a somewhat busy week since we last spoke. You had a show. You hosted a show. I had a garage sale. Took another line dance class. So yeah, we got some.
We had a karaoke night too.
We had a karaoke night here in California. Would be the first of quite a few before we abscond out here. Sadly, we haven't done an escape room yet, but we've been trying to, get our bills in order. And time isn't as freeing as we initially thought it would be prior to the move, just because, wife is working, taking more clients on the weekend, is booking out her pole classes. So finding those kind of free times to do stuff is slightly limited.
Hey, being busy is good. That's what I always say in my world.
Oh, and there's other thing I wanted to bring up, and let's get into this one early because it's overdue. For those listeners of Ice Cream Social, we heard they recently had Mitzi on, who does the betting for the NFL, and something that came up. The only thing that came up that actually piqued my interest was an octopus.
Ah, yes. And there was one in the Super Bowl.
There was one. Like, so I was at a Super Bowl party with my friends here in California. Shout out to Anil and Omar and the Jenkins and all the people, Thais, all the folks, Cecil, Priscilla, all the people, Mira, little T-Bone. We were watching the game, and when they got the 2-point conversion, I shouted, "Octopus! Oh my God, I think it's an octopus!" And I had posted, we had a group text chat going, and I had, one of my friends had posted what Omar had posted what 11 things he was looking for in the Super Bowl. And listen to them all comment things like, who gets the toss, who did the points, blah, 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 blah. And then I chimed in with number 12, if an octopus happens.
Yes.
And nobody responded to it in the group text. Nobody said, what is that? Nothing, whatever. They kind of just brush it off as Big Sexy being weird. And, which, I mean, fair. But when it happened, I shouted octopus, and everybody was like, okay, what is that? What is that? And so I had to explain what it was. And I go, I think that just happened. And I'm kicking myself for not being in a position to place money on that. Because that would have been a decent amount of cheddar for a very small entry fee.
Yeah, and a lot of those, what they call prop bets or proposition bets
right,
in the Super Bowl are really oddball things, and sometimes they're things with long odds. And the interesting thing when it comes to the Super Bowl specifically, and I think we're allowed to say that, and if not, who gives a shit?
Because it's over.
Because it's over. Well, this one is. The next one is yet to come. But
and in Vegas.
Yes. Boy, oh boy, are those tickets going to be fucking expensive, because they normally are. And that stadium that they built, as far as the number of seats that are in it, is one of the smaller ones. Even though it's one of the newer ones, it is one of the smaller ones because they built it by design to be smaller, so that there was a more kind of in the mix experience than, being up in the nosebleeds. Now they obviously have an upper deck and everything like that, but it just, they wanted it to be more intimate, and they absolutely got that. And come on, who doesn't, what town, city, whatever you want to call it in this world, doesn't know how to build an entertainment venue like Las Vegas? I mean, seriously, they know what they're doing. It was all by design. I've been there. You've been there. It's a fantastic place.
It's gorgeous. What you were saying about the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The thing about the Super Bowl is that it is the largest amount of just casual fans that aren't necessarily even football fans, and may, in many instances, not even know what's going on generally, because it's the taking in of a Super Bowl is really a party. It's a community event. You're going to go to the party whether you care about what's going on the screen, or the outcome, or even what's going on. It's just the nature of what it is. There's more eyeballs on that game than any other TV show that's broadcast throughout the year.
Right. And you're gonna eat wings no matter what.
Exactly. Like there's a breakdown, during the regular season, where there are hardcore football fans watching, and then there are fans of a particular team watching games. But in general, I would imagine that if anybody, like let's just let's generalize a cross section of our listeners, or who I imagine them to be, and we haven't had enough interaction for us to really intimately know this. Like, I could tell you who a handful of our listeners are, but the names I could name for you are probably, based on the numbers I'm looking at, only about 10% of the number of people who are actually listening. So I could be dead wrong about this, but I would imagine.
And if y'all let us know.
Yeah, please do. bigsexynomad@gmail.com is a great way to get in touch with us, or on any of the social medias. We'll drop that information later. But most people, if you are casually watching that hometown team, whoever it may be, wherever you are, it's probably the only game of the week that you're watching consistently, if that. You're not necessarily, there are games that on East Coast time, and I know that, depending on where you are, this is different, but the games on the East Coast are scheduled for 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 4 and some change, and then 8:30. You're probably only watching one of those 3 games, and it's whichever one is the local game for you that week. It's just the way that it is, and that's the way that it is for most people who are watching. I mean, it's an $11 billion industry annually, and that number's going to creep up very, very quickly because of the Amazon contract, the new YouTube taking over the NFL Sunday Ticket, and all that other stuff. That number's probably going to double in the next 5 years. It's immense, and I'll tell you that the experience of going to one of these games is immense, and it's fun if you're into that sort of thing. But from a revenue standpoint, it's unimportant, and it's a drop in the bucket, because if you look at the COVID year, where they didn't have people in the stands for most of that year, they made just as much money as they ever did before.
Right, that part. But we're talking about prop bets.
Prop bets, yes.
Prop bets.
So for those who are peripherally aware, or still have no idea what an octopus is, or how the sports ball works, a touchdown, which is the major scoring element in an American football game, is when you take that little brown ball, the pigskin, that little oval, and you cross the goal line, which is the far end of the field. It can be carrying the ball in, like a running back generally would do, or in this case, a quarterback keeps the ball and runs in. It could be passed to a receiver to cross, but it has to be in somebody's hands as it crosses that line. That is a touchdown. That touchdown is generally worth 6 points. It is worth 6 points.
It's worth 6 points.
It's worth 6 points. And then afterwards, this is I don't want to say it's a newer rule because I think it's been a rule for 15 years now, maybe more. I didn't anticipate that we talk about this, so I didn't look it up. So somebody fact check me, or you'll forget and not care that whatever. It's been at least 15 years, maybe more, maybe 20 years that you've had an option of kicking the point after, which is basically like a field goal from a certain distance through the upright. That's worth 1 point. Or you start the ball one play and one play only from, I believe it's now the 2-yard line, and try to get into the end zone the same way you would for a touchdown, except that's worth 2 points. So the genesis of this idea of an octopus is the same player crossing the goal line for the original 6-point touchdown, and the team chooses to go for 2, and the same player scores the 2-point conversion. So that if it were a passing play to Big Sexy, that's 6 points. Big Sexy would have to also receive the pass or run in the 2-point conversion for that to truly be an octopus.
Right.
In this instance, we had that with Jalen Hurts, who is the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. He ran in the touchdown. He ran in 3 touchdowns in that game, which is a big number. And then in the ensuing 2-point conversion, he also scored that. Voila, 8 points, hence octopus.
Just so you know, we are old. So the NFL adopted the 2-point conversion rule in 1994.
Okay, so 30 years
after 25 years after the merger.
30 years ago.
30 years ago. So 25 years
29
after the merger.
years, but yeah.
Yeah, Tom. Oh wow. So they adopted it in 94, but it took 25 years for the first 2-point conversion in NFL history. That's ridiculous.
No.
That can't be right.
25 years since the merger. 25 years since.
Reading that. I'll read this verbatim. The NFL adopted the 2-point conversion rule in 1994. 25 years after the merger. The merger of something. I don't know what the merger is. Tom Tupa scored the first 2-point conversion in NFL history, running in a fake 1-point attempt for the Cleveland Browns in the game against. Oh, never mind. Oh, it happened right away. In the first week of the 1994 season. So whenever the NFL merged with what I'm assuming is the AFL.
Yes.
After that merger, 25 years after that, they introduced a 2-point conversion. That season, in the first week, Tom Tupa, the magnificent Tom Tupa, terrific Tom Tupa, scored the first 2-point Tom Tupa. Scored the first 2-point conversion in NFL history.
Thanks for the alliteration, because now a whole lot of people who have zero interest in sports ball now know one piece of sports ball trivia. Yeah,
2-point Tom Tupa.
Which they'll probably not forget.
Yeah. They remember 2-point Tom.
That's right.
Who was the first person to score the first 2-point? Well, actually, I know that for some reason. I was listening to a travel podcast, and they were going on and on.
Wait, what? A travel podcast? You're getting football facts? What?
Yeah, because, it's Big Sexy Digital Nomad, so of course they talk about football.
You know what? That trivia, that little piece of true trivia about 2-point Tom Tupa is a great segue for us to mention the new feature that we're thinking about putting into play here, and we need your help, the listeners. So, not wanting to do what other people do, and probably wanting to do kind of an opposite of what other podcasts that we may be stemmed from or related to or friends with or otherwise. And I'm not just talking about ICS. I'm talking about the other ones that are in the mix. They all kind of have little shticks that they do. We've got an idea that involves trivia, but it is not actually trivia. And it's a segment that, again, we're like everything else, we're going to leave this up to you guys as to whether or not this seems like a good idea. But with Big Sexy having improv experience and improv background, we want to do something, or I want to try something that's going to be called Wrong Answers Only. So ultimately what I'm looking for, what we're looking for from our listeners, whatever you'll be called one day, we'll tackle that before we get to episode 80.
Or you guys will tackle it for us, whatever.
Or you'll tackle it for us, whatever it may be. But we're looking to have probably, and again, we'll feel this out as we go, maybe about 3 questions a week. Standard trivia questions, but Big Sexy won't know about them. And I will ask him the question as if I were asking him a normal standard trivia question. And then his role is going to be to come up with the most ridiculous, wrong answer only response to that trivia question. So if anybody's got some trivia questions, they don't need to be in any sort of format or anything like that. Shoot them in an email to bigsexynomad@gmail.com. But please.
Or send it to our Twitter at bigsexynomad.
No, don't do that.
Oh.
Only because what I want you to do...
Oh, you don't want me to see it?
Right. If you are sending them via email to bigsexynomad@gmail.com in big, bold caps, in the subject line, put wrong answers only. That way Big Sexy will know not to open it. Right. I won't even open it until I'm reading the questions on the air. And I would say 3 questions tops. You don't have to put in 3 questions, but I think that to start this off and to play this game, that's the target. Just enough, not too much. We'll see, something we want to try out. Maybe it'll be cool.
After you send the email, send a tweet telling us to look for the email.
That's also a good idea.
I am trying to generate movement across our Twitter and movement across our social media as well. So make sure, so send the question in the email and then shoot out a tweet. Hey, I sent you an email. And so if I see that, I go, oh, somebody sent us an email. I'll open up the email box. Oh, it says wrong answers only. Then I'll message I'll message Judge and say, hey, there's an email with the wrong answers only question in it. So we got something to talk about next week. Yeah.
Yes. Which actually is reminding me that I actually have, and I've been holding this because we've had some guests on the past couple of weeks, but we'll get to it. I've got an audio postcard that we're going to do later on today. So,
good.
Let me get that uploaded in here so that we can do that when we get to the right time.
Yeah. Let's we can segue from you getting ready to do stuff to you did stuff.
Yes.
You had a show, and I see you're wearing your My Noodler t-shirt.
I am.
Tell us about the show, and then let us know how it went.
Tons of fun. Everything went very, very good. So we had brand new venue for anybody who does not know the entire history of Elkton Magic. You're not going to get it here, but the brief synopsis, at least not going to get it here today. The brief synopsis is that we had linked up back originally pre-pandemic with a local community theater who was doing, plays and musicals and things of that nature. And the idea was, hey, you should book magicians here. And the response that I received was, that's a great idea. You should book magicians here. So we picked out some dates. I started reaching out to some folks about getting them in, and voila, it happened. We had, we had somebody lined up. The pandemic hit. The world went to shit. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. And so it all got halted like so many other things did around that time. And when things started to get back to normal, I actually reached out to, ironically enough, Matt Donnelly, who at the time, I had not listened to ICS at all. I only knew him through Penn Sunday School. And I said, hey, you're an East Coast guy. Do you have ties to anybody out in this general area that might be interested in kicking us off? Because the guy that I had originally lined up to do our first show was in cruise ship world. And congrats to him, Matt Johnson. Fantastic. He's on cruise ships more than he's not. He's really out there killing it. I have been in touch with him. It is, we definitely plan on having him here in Elkton at some point in time, but we did a run of about 6 different weekends of shows until the building that theater was in sold. So then we were on a brief hiatus, and recently my kid approached me about helping her come up with an idea to do a fundraiser for her school.
Nice.
They need to raise money to pay for prom for the class ahead of them or what have you. That's right. And I said, well, let's do a magic show. And she's like, well, who are we going to get? And I said, why not bring back Matt? Matt did great performances the first time he was here. He had an enjoyable time. He sold out all the seats. And I'm like, there's nobody better. So we lined that up scheduling wise.
I mean, nobody better. Maybe nobody better than we can get.
No, let's put it this way. The first person I thought of was Matt because it gave me a great deal of confidence that A, the show would be fantastic because we're kicking this off in a brand new location, and B, we'd probably have the best likelihood of selling out all of the tickets because things like this in towns that are not entertainment towns, they take some time to build an audience.
And he's done that. And Matt Donnelly
and he's got
has created that.
He's got a great deal of reach. He's got, and he knows how to leverage that reach because there are definitely some performers out there who have reach, but don't even realize the reach they have and certainly don't know how to leverage it. So, I figured getting him in here would be kind of the softball toss to get this thing sold out, which we did. And we did within like 26 days. It was fantastic. And 170 seats, like the theater, the room that we were in and will continue to be in for these Elkton shows is more than twice the size of the 70-seater that we were doing them before. But we lined it up with when he was doing the shows in Red Bank, New Jersey, his homecoming shows. So those were Saturday. We did Thursday. So he came into town. He did our show. Then he went up to New Jersey, did his stuff there. And it helped make it all work out because when you are a performer, and there's travel costs involved, whether you're paying for them yourself or the venue's paying for them, you kind of want to maximize that time
right
on that area and that coast. And let me tell you, what a show. I think everybody had a fantastic time. Okay. And like I said, it was a packed house. In fact, there were some weird things that happened the week leading up to the show.
Such as?
That had me oversell the show. So this is kind of a PSA, a scam alert, if you will. I'm very attentive to the Elkton Magic social media accounts. And I'm very, in general, concerned with customer service. Like what I do in my law practice and what makes me successful there is aiming for and achieving a high level of service. And I think it makes sense to do that anywhere. So It's super important to me to make people happy when it comes to these events.
Because you give a shit.
Because I give a shit. And, it's also important for me, everywhere from choosing who's going to be on that stage to how the experience is. Like we did these little like surveys that I'm showing Big Sexy that nobody else could see because this is an audio podcast.
To get interesting. It looks amazing.
Yes, just to get feedback and suggestions from people who attended because we just want to keep making these better. We just want to keep leveling up and little things that were kind of suggested to us, all going to be in effect by the next show if they make sense. I haven't gotten anything suggested to me that does not make sense yet. So far, everything's going to come into play for the next show.
Nice.
There are scammers out there who, when they see tickets or announcements about tickets, specifically ones where you're announcing or a venue is announcing that a show is sold out, who will then post a comment on there being like, hey, I just realized, something came up last minute. I can't attend. I'm not necessarily looking to get face value for my tickets, but I'm looking to just save some money, get some of my money back. Message me. These are probably a scam.
Right.
Every instance that I saw indicate, and there were a lot of them because when I posted about this on the Elkton Magic page to warn people, I got one of these scammers responding to that post. I was like, you can't make this shit up. So what I imagine that the game is that, that show's sold out. I want to go to it. This person has tickets, allegedly. Let me reach out to them. Okay, the tickets were $35. I'll take 20 a piece for them. I have 4. Okay, great. Send it to my Venmo or wherever, Cash App or something not traceable and without buyer protections. And then poof, ghost, gone. because they never
Right.
had tickets in the first place. So I saw one of these. I saw somebody saying, hey, I have 4 tickets that I'm looking to get rid of, not knowing. I had no idea that this scam was a thing. From the Elkton Magic account, I commented on that comment saying, hey, we have a very easy refund policy. Shoot me a message and I'll refund you the tickets, go in and refund you. Okay.
Right.
Then, because we had a wait list for this show, and without looking to see that this person was real or not, just assuming that, hey, when they contact me, I'll make it right, I went and released tickets on the wait list, because we had a wait list of like 8 people for this show, because again, it sold out so quickly. And then people started buying the tickets that didn't exist that I released on the wait list. And then as that starts happening, I start going through the list of the names of people that had purchased tickets, and that name wasn't in my list. I'm like, oh, fuck, this must be some sort of a scam. Sure enough, as I dug around, it was a scam.
Right.
So we sold probably about 6 extra tickets to our sold out show. And it was wild because, the doors to the general public were supposed to open at 6:30. That place was packed by 6:25.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Which
Good
is
to
ultimately what you do when you have, high school kids running the front door, which is what my daughter and her friend were doing. But everything went fantastic. I think everybody enjoyed both shows. Well, myself opening for Matt. And for anybody who missed it, like legitimately missed it, not because you had fake tickets that you're trying to hustle somebody and sell, but if you actually missed the show because it was sold out, or because you were out of town traveling, or whatever the case might be, if you are in that mid-Atlantic, East Coast sort of area, I have great news for you. Matt and I will be back on stage.
Breaking news on here. Big Sexy Digital Nomad.
That's right. You are hearing it here, possibly first, definitely at least second. We are doing a run. Some of these dates are not completely set in stone yet, but if you are dying to see Matt Donnelly or Judge Mentalist or both of us on the same stage in the same night,
but we're happy for you.
Between just mark July 20th through the 30th off on your calendar. We will have shows, and the formal announcements for all of these will be coming soon, because again, some of these things we're solidifying. That's the last 10 days of July. Somebody's going to fact check me and say, you said the 20th through the 30th, and there's a 31st in July. Well, maybe we'll tack one on the 31st too. Who knows?
No, we're only doing the 30th. We're stopping we recognize the 31st.
We might just say fuck you.
Summerland.
That's right. We've got shows that are lined up in Baltimore at Poe's Magic Theater. We've got 2 shows on a Saturday at a place called Smoke and Mirrors in Philadelphia. There's going to be one at Greenmount Station, which is going to be a small show. It's a dinner theater that only has 30 seats. So when that one gets announced, if you are anywhere near Carroll County, Maryland, you want to buy those tickets immediately, because he sold out 170 seats in 30 days. He's going to sell out, 30 seats in like a week. Okay.
July 31st is a Monday. Fuck Mondays.
We're probably not doing a show on a Monday. So that between the 20th and 30th, again, those are there. We're probably going to do one in Middletown, Delaware. We are tweaking the details on that. There's going to be one most likely in Washington, D.C. There's going to be one most likely in Havre de Grace, Maryland. And I am in talks with folks about northeastern Pennsylvania. So if you are in that range, when I say northeastern Pennsylvania, I'm thinking like Allentown or
Billy Joel country.
Help me out. Where did they do the office? Scranton. Yeah, that area. Somewhere up that way. So we're going to probably be doing something like 6 or 8 shows in 10 days. There might even be a casino show in there. That's still in the works. That was a big get. Oh man, I got a contact now who wants me booking magic at the local at the local Penn National
Oh,
Casino.
nice.
That is going to be a big deal.
Judgmental is taking off. I like it.
We are bringing magic to the area. Super excited about it. So those shows will get announced either on mynoodler.com as they become available, judgmentalist.com as they become available. And it's going to be fun.
Yeah, should have a blast. Should have a great time.
And I have, for those who are scoops, who are listening, who are interested in seeing Matt perform, or Matt and myself perform, depending on scheduling, it could be me or him. I'm more focused on helping him pushing stuff out and getting gigs. I posted something on the Scoop group maybe about a month or a month and a half ago saying, hey, if you're interested in seeing Matt and there's some sort of a theater in your area, drop the info, reach out to me or otherwise. I've gotten some leads from that. I've made some contacts with that. I've got some positive energy with that. But don't stop doing that, either on that post or email me through here, whatever works for you. Because here's the way that it works. When we get done recording this episode, I've got a call with a guy up in Maine who I've booked some other performers for. And here's what's going to happen, just so that you guys, just to kind of peel behind the scenes on how this works. Okay. A little intro music to like our little production meeting about producing these kind of shows. Here's what's going to happen in about a half an hour. When we break this podcast, I'm calling my guy up in Maine. We're going to figure out what might work for his venue. We're going to target and probably solidify a date. Okay.
Nice.
Once that date is on the calendar, now open the floodgates. Okay. We've got one in Maine. I'll be trying to do something in kind of the Boston area, maybe Western Massachusetts, Vermont. I've already got a contact with somebody up in New Hampshire about a venue where he opened when he was Hillbill for PIF. Once I have a date on the calendar, then I will reach back out to that venue and be like, look, we're going to be at such and such on such and such a date. It gets cheaper for you if you book within a week of that, because now there's only one flight in and one flight out. We probably get in there around the same time if we're doing it as a tour together. We rent a car and then we go hop city to city. And the key is to just fill in all of the days. And one of the things that I've started to do, and I don't even know if I should say this because I think that this is an idea. I think I figured something out, and I'll put it out there because we're small right now and nobody's going to steal this idea. And if you do, whatever, there's enough work for everybody.
We got recording evidence that we said it here first.
Well, if
you steal it, we'll find you and we'll punch you in the throat.
No, because it's actually a good thing.
If you steal the idea, we'll find you and we'll give you a reach around.
You're doing good stuff. Okay. If you're doing this. So what I did, so we've got Saturday shows, Friday shows. One of those is a midweek show, but the midweek downtime is sometimes, difficult. And you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. You're staying in a hotel room that you shouldn't be paying for because it's a waste of money and time, but you're not going to go back and forth. He's not going to go Vegas to Maryland to Vegas to Pennsylvania, So I've started reaching out at targeted geographic locations that are close but not too close. So they keep us in the path, they keep us in the flow, but they're not like overlapping each other so that there's a problem with, the competing for the audiences with nonprofits. Nonprofits who are doing good things. And I said, here's the pitch. We've got these dates that are open. They're midweek dates. We want to offer you a fundraiser. Okay. The pricing you will secure the venue. Hopefully nonprofits have deals with places like fire halls or VFWs, things like that will give them a great rate or maybe offer it to them for next to nothing. Right. This is what we suggest the ticket price be. This is what we suggest the size of the venue being. It will give you a range, anywhere between 100 to 300 is fine. And then the performance will be paid. The price on it will either be X or 50% of the cost or 50% of what you bring in ticket wise, whichever one of those numbers is lower. Nice. That way there's no risk on you.
Right.
So if you guys crush the number, the fee is the fee. If you guys don't sell all the tickets, we'll take half of the money. That's it. That way you're not overspending what the cost is.
Right.
It only works in a setting where, hey, we're going to be in that area anyway. Let's fill dates that are otherwise empty, because you make $0 when you're not doing a show.
Right. Can I also provide you some another idea as well?
Please, yes.
Schedule, find a venue, a location, an educational facility, and schedule an improv workshop.
Okay.
You have an improv master who also
Yes.
does magic coming to your town. I had to throw in the does magic because I won't be there. Who can teach a great improv course.
Yes.
In that downtime as well, right? You charge a fee for the class. It's worth it. He's continuing to make it. It's he's not sitting around. He gets his hotel rooms covered by whatever he's able to eat with the money he makes from the improv class. He builds that community up. There are probably enough scoops in the area who would run to do it, an improv thing. If you're up in that area, you could probably get Paul's Mattingly to come in. Maybe they could do a bucket show in the area as well.
That'd be fantastic.
I mean, lean into the talent if they're available, right? If you have that option.
Well, again, it's great talent because it's about filling spaces. And a question for you on this topic. This was nothing that we discussed pre-show. Is something that we would discuss, but I think it's fantastic. Is that something that people might be interested in? Let's say on a Saturday afternoon,
an improv workshop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's usually when you get the most people out because they're not at work.
Good. Because I'm just thinking like to not necessarily even take another day. So there are 2 days in that run that are Saturdays. The Pose Magic Theater is going to be the first Saturday. That's the 22nd. The 2 shows that are being done at Philly at the Smoke and Mirrors Theaters on the 29th. And Elkton, where I already know that there is a small community theater because they found a new location and they're getting that. They will definitely be up and running by July. Why not work with them to do a Saturday afternoon, either before going to Baltimore or before going to Philly to do the improv workshop? I love it. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10. Props to Big Sexy.
You're welcome.
That was never the intention of why we did this whole podcast thing, but it's glad to see the investment paying dividends because that is
right.
That is a 10 out of 10 suggestion. A++ note. We are changing lives here, and it fits into you suggesting that I take an improv class. Well, why not book and create an improv class at a time in which I'll be in an area anyway?
I've been inspired by the suggestions just because of how you have it's been pretty much your MO, right? You're learning magic, you're doing magic, you want to perform big, you want to you find a venue that should book magic so you have a place to do it. They tell you to book magic, and so you book the Mind Noodler and yourself, right?
Oh,
you book the Mind Noodler. He says, "How about you open for me?" You're like, "Cool, I'll okay, fine." Boom. So there you go. So you have created the event and then benefited from the event, right? And so you take that model and go, "Hey, how about you create an event and then you benefit from the event?" I did that when I was the office manager for Conservatory for the Arts back in San Bernardino. I would book dance classes, and then I would become a student in that dance class. I'm in the office anyway. I'm already there anyway. Let me go out of the office and go into the dance class and take this dance class for an hour. So I learned how to belly dance. I learned Bharatanatyam, which is Indian classical dancing.
Say that again, because I don't even know what
Bharatanatyam. Don't ask me to spell it. I can't help you. I'll have to get my friend Priya on Priya Ramesh on the air one of these days because it was my teacher for Bharatanatyam, and we're still in contact. And she lives in San Diego now, but she travels around. I have to invite her on the podcast. She's an amazing person. Yeah, so I learned flamenco dancing. I learned folklorico. all because I worked at a conservatory for the arts that taught these classes. And then on the flip side, I started teaching acting classes. So I taught improv for film. I taught, acting for teens. So the benefit of being in a location that provides those type of things, if it doesn't provide it, if you provide it, then you should also get the benefit from it, not just the monetary value, but also educational value and the fun. So yeah, if you get Matt Donnelly, if he's able to teach an improv class, then you take that improv class. Yeah, you'll see the value and the experience. And I know for sure that your skills and talents and show presentation will increase and get better and blow up, because that's just what improv does. It doesn't pay you anything, but fucking makes you better. Just makes you a better human.
Yeah. I'm making a note to send a text to Matt that we'll get that lined up. Also, I want to put this out there because, where I am in my magic career, if you call it that, is really just trying to get what we call flight time. I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to get on stage as much as I can. And just as I work through this stuff, it gets, it just gets better and better every time as you kind of iron out some of the little hiccups, as you get people on stage that especially with what I do, it's all interactive with other people. So it does not fall into that category of practice this 10,000 times in front of a mirror until you've perfected it. It's not a thing. Like I could, because I have to imagine what you're going to say and what your reaction to something is, and that is limited by the extent of my mind and my imagination. Getting you on stage, the random you that is from my audience, is the best and only way to do it, and it really helps evolve some of these routines, because there are just certain things that every so often will happen in the middle of you doing a routine that's like, oh, I really like that. I'm taking that. I'm using that. Like there are lines in some of the greats, Matt King, who's been a headliner in Las Vegas for decades. There are some of the lines that are used in his show that came from audience members saying random ass shit years before. And Mac was like, oh, that's gold. And then worked it so that became part of the routine and part of the script. So some of this stuff organically exists. So the confluence and the merging of worlds has happened here, because many people know that I'm an NFL agent, and using those talents, I started helping out somebody who became a friend that's a magician. You may know Smoothini, the Ghetto Houdini from his AGT run, and was booking shows for him.
Right.
He's taking some time off right now. We'll book some more shows when he's ready to get back out there and everything like that. But Matt reached out to me knowing that I was doing that stuff for Smoothini, saying, hey, do you mind helping me and doing some of the legwork here? And I said, yes. Do you want me to open for you on these shows that I booked? Full disclosure, Matt, this is a self-serving, venture for me to get on stage. So there was full disclosure on that. If it sounds like I was trying to whore myself out by helping book Matt shows, you're right.
You were.
You figured it out. But I just want to put it out there and make it clear that there was no deception. This was not some sneaky ass backdoor shit like, oh, I'm going to put
you're a very upfront whore.
I am a very upfront whore. You will know the price for the service before we even get our clothes off. All day, every day, and nights. But I'm more of a daytime hooker.
Yeah, you provide that daytime service. Upfront daytime service.
Upfront daytime service. No surprises. Only happy endings.
Awesome. Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that the show was successful. Did you get a chance to go to the Red Bank shows?
I did not. I wanted to, and it just was not in the cards for me this time. He got to, and I'm interested because I haven't chatted with him since, but one of the effects that he did at the Elkton show was brand new and was being
Really?
For those who are.
Oh, is he going to use it for the Fuller's tour that he's doing?
Correct. Yes. This is something that for those who are either in the PSS or Full Us world or really are kind of like in the mix, anybody that was at Scoop Fest in 2022 will know or have at least become aware of Hondro. Hondro is a 4 or 5 time Fuller, depending on when you listen to this episode.
Right.
I don't know that I actually don't know for sure that he fooled them the 5th time, but I am under the impression that he's going to be on this season a 5th time.
Right.
You didn't hear that from me, but he actually wrote this routine for Matt to use in the Fuller's tour. So Thursday night was the first time that he rolled this out. It went swimmingly well. It's great. So the best thing to know for anybody who's seen Matt before, and there were a lot of familiar faces Thursday night from the first time he was here.
Nice.
There's new stuff. It's not like always new stuff. Like don't follow us around in July expecting to see stuff new every night, because you won't. In that 10-day run, you're going to see all the same.
Saw what you like. It'll be a little bit different because it'll be different audience members, but
for sure,
yeah.
That element is always true. The shows are always going to be different and a little tweak here, there, and wherever.
It's like following a favorite band. You know the set list.
Yeah,
man. Sometimes that guitarist just goes a little bit harder. Yeah, sometimes they jam just a little bit more. So yeah. So do it. Follow the tour. Follow the tour. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't not go. Go and follow all over the place. Heck, by then, well, I don't know where we'll be at in our digital nomading adventure, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on the dates, because if I can fly back in and hang out, I might try to do so. But I'll be smack dab in the middle of Lisbon.
Well, same thing applies to you. Well. You find us a theater to do a show out there, and then we'll circle around and see if we can't find other shows.
All right.
Come out to Portugal, do a show in that American-speaking theater.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm definitely looking that up.
And here's the thing. Because of where Portugal is, in my limited understanding of the Mediterranean-ish geography, and that's not even probably the Mediterranean.
It's not, but that's okay.
This shows exactly how little I know. But it's the one that's connected to Spain, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that's a map reaches out to Hondro and says, "Hey, book us in some spots that you know," and maybe we do like a mini tour in a country that we don't speak the language.
You would love that. Oh, I can't wait to hit you back up, and of course I'll save it for the podcast. But okay, so there's this theater. These two don't speak English, but they book English acts. So yeah,
I will put in an envelope and send to you right now my response. It's only 3 letters. It's only 1 word. Yes.
So yeah.
All 3. We're in.
We'll be looking. Definitely looking forward to that. Speaking of which, we made some progress towards our the Blaxit 2023. We had our first garage sale, a California garage sale this weekend. Well, it was a garage sale and a half. Before, we had done garage sales in Vegas. We had, promoted, put posters up, everything like that. The wife got stuck in Vegas. She had to take the car back to get registered. She had to get looked at. We had work done on the car before we came out, and there was a gas cap issue. And when we came back out, she was going ready to drive back maybe about 2 weeks ago to get the car registered, because she had to get it registered in Nevada. That's where we're going to have it registered at. And get a small one registered in Nevada. And she got on the road, and 10 minutes into the drive, her check engine light came on. So those who follow me on social media saw the post. Oh no, the car in mechanics in California, blah, blah, blah. Eventually took it to an AutoZone. they do the free check engine light sensor. Shout out to AutoZone. Y'all need to sponsor us.
Better than Pep Boys,
probably
yeah?
You don't need our help, but yeah, I mean, I can't speak to any of if they have any service venues, but man, the free services you guys offer are kick ass. I appreciate y'all. They're really cool, and they help me do the scan, the sensor, figure out what it says. Mention the gas cap, which we just did the work on. So wife called the mechanic who did the work. They said, bring the car in. We'll get it fixed for free. But that was back in Vegas. So wife on Thursday. So this was the weekend before. This was last week. This was before the garage sale. I sent my wife back out to Vegas on Thursday night because she was talking about going on Friday. I'm like, you go out Friday, you're not going to make it in time to do anything, right? They're going to have your car overnight.
Well, over the weekend, probably.
Right. So she went out Thursday, took the car on first thing Friday morning. Problem is, she got the car back Friday afternoon, which is great, but you have to drive it for 100 miles to get it, the sensors to reset, to get it smogged and registered. Now, you're probably saying, well, that's cool because she could drive back to California, which is well over 100 miles. She'll double that by the time she gets back out here. Problem is, you can't get it registered in Nevada in California. So you can't do the smog certification in California for Nevada guidelines. So that means she had to stay in Nevada. And there wouldn't, by the time she had driven 100 miles, there wouldn't be a service open. She couldn't get it done in that day. So she had to stay over till Saturday, which was the day of our garage sale. So on Saturday, instead of having the garage sale, it's funny. I took everything out, put it on the driveway. Not everything that I wanted to sell, just the tables. Just so I can map out where the tables go. I'm kind of a planner. I like to visualize and need to see it. And so I put it out there on the table and had stuff on the table. And I had a buyer of comic books come through and spend some good money. Shout out to Danny Espinoza. Appreciate you very much, sir. Who's come out and bought some stuff. And so we were doing business transaction, but while he and I were talking business transactions, people kind of slowly drove by. And again, there's just tables out. There's nothing on the tables, right? I had a few things because I was going through my DVDs and putting the DVDs back in their cases. And so there was some of that on the table, and I had pulled out stuff that he was looking at and put on the tables because he was trying to determine what. But just for that small stuff that was out, people were stopped by. One lady stopped by. She was like, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, we're doing the big sale tomorrow." And she was like, "Oh, well, I might not be able to make it tomorrow." And I said, "Well, what are you looking for? It's probably in the garage, and I'll probably have it." And she mentioned what she was looking for. I went and got it. She wanted home decorations. I mean, like, not doing anything, I made just under $100. Not doing anything, just having tables out there. I'm like, okay, so that tells me a lot of things. One, it's a high traffic area, and it's great. My mom has a corner house, and on the corner there's a stop sign, right? And so, like, and it's a relatively busy street. So, boom, there's that. Two, all you have to look like is that you're having some kind of sale, and people will get curious and stop by.
Nothing starts a crowd like a crowd.
Right. And so, and the money flow was really easy and simple. So Sunday comes by, and I put all the stuff out there, and again, wife is tired. We don't get to do all the full prep because we didn't have Friday to do all the full prep. So, like, no signage whatsoever. No signage anywhere saying garage sale here, garage sale there. Which next time we do this, we'll definitely have that. We will be doing this again. Still did a decent amount on that one day, just on Sunday. People coming through and buying stuff and got rid of stuff and put a dent in the garage, which is lovely, which my mom loved to see.
Oh, of course.
So yeah,
she knows secretly anything that doesn't go gets stuck there with her.
Well, I know that anything that doesn't go gets stuck in a dumpster. So
there you go.
We will definitely make sure everything goes. or at least gets donated or given away, whatever. It'll happen. But so we had a very successful garage sale. I want to give a shout out to a lovely gentleman by the name of TJ. TJ, I don't know his last name, but he is one of the owner and operators of Cactus Cantina, which is a lovely restaurant here in Riverside. He came through just to look at stuff, ended up buying a candle. We got to talking, telling me his stories and all this great stuff, whatever. And he left his candle. He drove away and left his candle. And so I took, being the person I am, I bagged this, once everything was done, put away, I bagged this candle, I took it over to Cactus Cantina, because luckily he told me that story. Luckily, he told me that story, and his wife worked there, and I knew his wife was going to be in tonight, so I took it to his wife and said, hey, he left this here. She was lovely. Shout out to Gloria, who hooked us up with a free cinnamon roll. It was so delicious. Oh, it's so good. So if you're listening in the Riverside area, I'm shouting out Cactus Cantina. They're a great restaurant. Go support that business. If you're not in the Riverside area, come on out. Come on out and visit them and tell them you're a guest of Big Sexy Digital Nomad, and they'll treat you right. But
hey, is a question for you?
Sure.
Is the weather there great all the time?
Define great.
I mean, us idiots from the East Coast imagine Southern California, and anytime I've ever been to Southern California, the weather has been fantastic. But I don't know exactly where you are. So
the weather in Riverside, California, is representative of California. It was a lovely. Oh my God, it was such a gorgeous day Sunday. Yesterday after this recording, it was a beautiful day, and the Saturday was pretty nice as well. It's been chilly, right? And I don't like the cold, so great for some is not always great for me. But it's been nice. It's been sunny, and it hasn't rained much. It sprinkled last week,
but it hasn't snowed twice like it has in Las Vegas over
the
past
yeah. It snowed in Vegas after we left, which is hilarious to me. It's been cold. It's been somewhat wet, but it has not snowed yet. Although we were supposed to be in a freeze warning, I think this week. We have I think we're in a freeze warning, so there must be a cold front coming through. So we might. I doubt it though. I don't think it snows very much in Riverside. Where we are. We're too coastal, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, shout out to everybody who stopped by, bought some stuff, and contributed to the Blaxit 2023 Barry White tour. We appreciate you. We'll be doing this again. Right now, the tentative date is the first weekend in March. I know it's kind of late in the podcast to mention, but speaking of dancing that I talked about earlier, segue.
No, that's the rule. We put all the juicy nuggets at the end there.
Right, that's right. If you make it this far, you get to hear all the awesome shit. I've started taking line dancing classes as a way to I want to endear myself and indoctrinate myself into that environment, to that world, because one of the things I want to do when I get to Portugal, we talk about finding theaters and finding things of that nature, is teaching line dance, teaching the heart and soul line dance classes. And so I'm taking a class out here, not just to learn the dances, but also to get into the rhythm of the teaching, how that normally works, what they use, all that kind of the signups and everything, to kind of get the business aspect of it. And so I've been putting myself in that environment and learning that world, which is lovely, which is pretty awesome. So be on the lookout for some videos coming soon about with me learning some line dancing and doing some dances. I'll throw that on the social medias at some point in time. I'm not making any promises, but it'll get up eventually.
And what social media should they be following to see all this stuff that you're posting?
Well, they should follow us at Big Sexy Nomad on the Instagram and the Twitters. You know what I realized? It's we're too late for our. We said we had audio postcards.
I don't have it figured out anyway, because apparently it downloaded as a video and it won't upload into Zencaster. So next time, 2 weeks from now.
Got it. Okay.
But you can You can leave your own at prankcall.me. We would not mind having a little backlog of those.
Yeah, so feel free to leave us an audio podcast, and we'll hear it here well before this part of the segment. We'll keep an eye on the clock and make sure we have a really time for that segment to leave room. So go ahead and hit us at prankcall.me or go to bigsexynomad.com. That'll take you to the page.
You are more than welcome to leave questions for wrong answers only on the prankcall.me.
Oh yeah, if you want to just chime in and call in and ask the questions there.
And just leave like a 2-second pause after you ask a question if there's going to be another question so that we can pause it on our end.
Make it 3 seconds. Just make it 3 seconds.
3 seconds, whatever. Obviously, we will pause it and take more time to give responses. Or it's a natural break in there.
Or you can just ask your question, stop it, hang up. I guess you hang up on this thing or whatever.
I have no idea how it works.
and then record another one. So you can record them individually. I'm pretty sure it works something like a phone call. So call, hang up, leave a message, hang up, chime back in, leave a message. Yeah, whatever makes it easiest for us. We'd appreciate that. But whatever makes it easier for you, we understand. But yeah, hit us up on the social medias. Check us out on all the places, all the things. We have some big things coming up. I can't wait because in 2 weeks we get to hear about Judge Mentalist's second cruise.
That's right.
And that's going to be a great time. Again, shout out to last week's guest, Billy Hirsch, with cruisehabit.com. If you're not already checking that out, go do so. It's great. I just reached out to the travel agent, so I'm getting that stuff in the works as well. Got a lot of things in the works, so got a lot of awesome stuff coming up.
I might try to do their December cruise.
Yeah, same here.
In fact, if you talk to him, tell him he should book me as a magician privately for his guests for that cruise in December.
I surely will,
and I will try to make that work. So,
indeed,
that's what I got. So, awesome. Let's kick it.
Safe travels.
Oh, a little off on that one. Next time.